minutes, and we're going to go to focus on some aspects relating to the continued validation and performance of diagnostic tests. So to kick off, Valerie's going to tell us something about the ongoing problems and issues relating to antigen detection. Elisa, your floor is yours, Valerie.
Start your timer. Right, so as Don said, I'm going to talk about antigen detection ELISA performance versus virus evolution. Before I forget, the people who are listed on this slide are the people who I really need to thank for help in getting this little study done. And I should also thank all of you who actually take the time and make the huge effort to send us samples at the WRL, because there's no way we could do our job if you didn't actually do that for us. So the tests we carry out when we receive samples are virus isolation and antigen ELISA, which allow us to assign serotype and then further pass them down to Nick and Gemma for sequencing and Anna's group for vaccine matching. We also carry out real-time PCR. Sorry, I need to stand in front of this thing. And the serotyping is actually done using a polyclonal antigen ELISA, which a lot of you will already be familiar with. It's been around for a number of years. However, in the last few years, we've actually found that this test has actually failed to serotype a number of samples. And it's only sort of started about maybe 4 or 5 years ago-ish. And we've sort of been keeping an eye on it and seeing where things are going, see if we can actually spot any trends. So we actually spent time logging these samples to try and see if eventually we could actually spot any sample sets that were starting to look like culprits. And the starkest example is actually the O-Cathay, and you can actually see it where, yes, this one here, where up until about, and I can't actually see it from here, I really need some glasses, up to 2013-14, everything was actually okay. The antigen ELISA was detecting the samples, no problem. And then after 2013-14 onwards, we started seeing quite a decrease in the OD values on the antigen ELISA, and it was actually quite borderline values. And in some of those cases, we ended up confirming the serotype using a secondary assay, which is not in our ISO 17025 scope, but has been extensively validated and relies on integrin capture and monoclonal antibody detection. And then these samples up in red up here are the ones which just do not come up at all on our normal antigen ELISA. And actually, when we get samples from Hong Kong now, we just pretty much know our normal antigen ELISA is just not going to go. And if you look at the poster that we've got in the hall, you'll see there are a few others which are actually starting to show the same sort of trend. And essentially, the conclusion from that is it's really best practice not to rely on a single test. You really need to have a good, solid backup test that you keep using. And we use the integrin ELISA a lot. We're also hoping to get the Eisler assay validated onto our scope of 17025 accredited assays, and actually we find it's a very good test. And any tests in use in the lab should actually be subjected to ongoing validation against circulating field strains, and that's really where we're hoping that the panel of the isolates that Ali spoke about yesterday will actually be useful to everyone who might want to try and keep up with the field strains. And it highlights the importance of ongoing work. There you go. So thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, please come and talk to me by the poster or grab me at lunch.
Are there any pressing questions that people want to ask now? No? Okay, Valerie, you're off the hook.